Hi guys, my name is Ben Guilford and I'm the owner of the Firebrick Company, and today I'm really excited to bring you a video all about planning a wood-fired oven. So you've decided that you want to put a wood-fired oven into your home, and firstly I would just say congratulations, because it's going to be one of the most enjoyable projects that you could undertake if you're doing it as a DIYer. But even if you're not, if you're having it built for you, the end result is something that just brings your family and friends together. It's a shared experience of cooking and enjoying good food and good friends and family. It's just a lovely thing to have at home. It's a beautiful thing. So, good idea. I say a wood-fired oven is well worth having at home. But the question is, well, where should you put it? And that's a really important question. The reason it's important is a traditional wood-fired oven is not something that you can just pick up and move around. It's something that is a permanent installation. Once you build it there, that's where it's going to stay. And the reason for that is they are heavy. A good wood-fired oven has a tremendous amount of thermal mass, and that will mean that that oven is going to be heavy. It's going to weigh at least 1,500 pounds, if not more, and that's just the oven, not including the stand. So it's very, very permanent. So the thinking process of like, well, where do you put it is a very important part of putting a wood-fired oven in, is having a think through where should your oven go so that it ends up in a location that you're really happy with for the next few decades. So before you get too far into your planning, the first step in this process is to figure out which wood-fired oven you're planning to put in your home. And I'm not saying you should definitely put one of ours in. Hey, hopefully one of ours suits you. But this video is for everybody. This hopefully is going to help a bunch of people out in terms of figuring out where do I put my oven. But the first step, of course, is, well, what kind of oven are you going to put in? Is it going to be something small or is it going to be something large? And that's a pretty important thing to figure out, and we've got a whole separate video on that. I'll link it in the description for you, so you can watch that video, and that should help you figure out what kind of wood-fired oven you should put in your home. But once you've got that nailed down, the next step is to figure out the location. A couple of things you can do right away is to see if there are any limiting factors. So, for example, your local council or building authority might have some rules around clearances to fences, for example, or property lines. You might be part of a homeowners association that requires a permit for putting in a wood-fired oven. And so, well worth contacting your local building authority or council just to check if there are any rules or regulations around wood-fired ovens in your area. Because councils, God bless them, they're just everywhere, and they've all got different rules. And if there was one rule for the whole world, I would give it to you right now, but I can guarantee the rules that are in my area will be totally different to yours. And so the best thing you could do is contact your local council or small government. Just discuss with them what you're planning to do and just see if they have any rules that are going to dictate maybe where you can't put your wood-fired oven. Once you've got that out of the way, then you're off to the races, because now you can start looking around your home, your backyard, and figuring out where is going to be the very best place to put your oven. So one of the most obvious things to consider is the proximity of your wood-fired oven to your kitchen. Okay, you'll be preparing a lot of food in your kitchen, bringing it out to the oven. Now, you might be very spoiled and you might have a full outdoor kitchen planned. You're not planning on even using your indoor kitchen for wood-fired cooking. But for most of us mere mortals, we need to use our kitchen to prepare our food and then bring it out and put it in our oven. So have a look at your home and your setup and see, all right, where would a convenient place be where I've got nice, easy access to the kitchen? I don't have to walk 500 meters back to the house to get some food to take to the oven. You want it to be nice and close to the kitchen if you can. Another consideration is, where do you find currently that your friends and family want to congregate? When you have a whole bunch of friends and family over, where do they just naturally sort of assemble? Particularly if they're taken outside. I know at my house, they all want to migrate out the front. We have this beautiful view at the front of our home, and all my friends and family just head straight out there every time they come over. And so that's where I'm going to be putting my oven in my new home, which I'm very excited about. And so that's a consideration as well, is where do people like to hang out? Because if you take the oven and put it in, say, a dark corner of the backyard, maybe not that many people are going to want to come out and spend time with you while you're cooking. And it's all about community. It's all about family and friends. You want this thing to be something that they can take part in as well. So if you put it in a location where everyone likes to spend time, then you're going to find that you've got a real party pleaser, a party piece, if you will. Another thing to consider when you're trying to figure out the location of your wood-fired oven is ground conditions. What are the ground conditions in the area that you're thinking of putting the oven? Because if, for example, that particular part of your yard was quite swampy or really, really sandy, or just had some really awkward ground conditions, it might not be a great surface to build a foundation on for a wood-fired oven because they're quite heavy. So generally speaking, you want to find somewhere that has good ground conditions, nice, hard, well-drained clay, if possible. There's always ways around that with foundations that you can build to deal with sandy or wet conditions, but if you do have a nice, dry, hard-packed clay area, then that's a great start. For me, one of the most important things that you could think about when trying to figure out a location for putting your oven is, can you put your oven under cover? If it is at all possible for you to build your oven under some kind of roof, then I would say to you, do it. Do it, because you'll be so glad that you did. You'll find that it will often want to rain when you want to cook pizza. The weather will say, yeah, you know what, I'm thinking rain sounds good right about now. And you'll find yourself out there in the rain trying to use your wood-fired oven with the rain belting down all around you, which is not that much fun. So if possible, put your oven under cover so that you and the oven are protected from the weather. And then rain, hail or shine, you can be out there whipping up a wood-fired feast to bless your friends and family with. Now, it's not to say that every wood-fired oven has to be built undercover. You can see I've got a wood-fired oven behind me that's completely out in the open and exposed. But there are some parts of the world in which it is critical that your wood-fired oven be kept completely dry. And in those parts of the world, we recommend that your wood-fired oven be kept completely undercover, out of the elements. This is such an important thing that I've actually made a whole separate video talking about how our wood-fired ovens deal with weather in different parts of the world. It's a bit of a complex topic, and so I won't go into details on it here, and I would ask that you watch that video. That is the most important video that we have ever put on our channel, because it's all about making sure that our customers end up building a wood-fired oven that is going to last, that's going to be there for decades to come, bringing them and their families lots of joy and great food. So please watch that video just to make sure that you fully understand how wood-fired ovens deal with the weather. So once you've got a rough idea in mind of where you want to put your oven, the next thing is to start planning out the stand. What sort of stand are you going to build? Exactly how big does it need to be? Are you going to build into a corner or go straight on with the oven? You can have neighboring bench tops and things like that. And there's a bunch of ways of figuring that out. You could start by making a full-scale template of the oven out of cardboard or paper or something similar to give yourself a full representation of what the floor plan of your given oven is going to look like. And this is our D105 here, which is enormous. This is one of our bigger ovens. We do have a larger one. This is the biggest oven that we really recommend you would have at home. And you can see here, I've got this template. I can take this and I can move it around the property, and I could lay it down in a given area and say, oh, would it work there? Right next to the pool? No, probably not. But you could see that I could take this and move it around and use it as a tool to help me plan where to put my oven. Another way of doing that would be to draw your entire backyard in CAD. All right, now there's some big nerds out there, myself included, and we love CAD. We love drawing in 3D. And so you might want to measure up your whole yard and draw it in 3D. And we have 3D models that we can give you of all of our ovens that you can drag and drop into your model and play with. That's probably the minority though. Most of you watching this are probably not thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to go and do 3D drawing. And so for those of you who aren't that into being a big nerd, this is a great option. And we have really detailed instructions on how to draw a full-scale template of all of our ovens. They're actually in the written instructions for each of our oven kits that are freely available online. You'll find a couple of pages dedicated to how to draw a full-scale template. The other thing that the template does for you that's really quite clever is it helps you to locate the flue. This is particularly important if you're planning on putting the oven under a structure. Okay, if you're going to build the oven under a pergola or something similar, which again is something we really recommend you think about doing, one of the most important things will be for you to understand where is the flue going to be when you build your oven, because then you can set up the position of the oven such that the flue goes in between your rafters rather than smack bang into one. Okay, so doing a template like this is well worth the effort. It doesn't take particularly long. It's not really going to cost you a whole lot, just some old cardboard. You might have to tape a few pieces together to make it big enough because we do make quite large wood-fired ovens. Okay, so definitely have a think about making a template. The other thing that it can do for you, apart from helping you sort of place the oven, is it can give you a feel for the scope of it, the size, particularly the internal size. Okay, so you can see here I've got my external wall and this is my internal wall, and you see that's my cooking area for the D105. And that's a really helpful tool even in figuring out which oven is right for you. Might be making some of these templates to see, all right, how big is the oven and how big is the cooking area inside it? And that might be really useful for you in determining which oven is going to suit you best. All right, so check those instructions out. Get yourself some cardboard, grab a texter and get drawing, and you can make yourself a template very easily. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it's given you some ideas about where you might put a wood-fired oven around your home. If we can be of any help to you at all in your wood-fired oven journey, do not hesitate to reach out to us. Give us a call, shoot us an email. We work really hard to make a good quality product, but we work equally hard to back it up with great customer support. So please pick up the phone, give us a call or send us an email, and we'll be very happy to help you.